All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back here talking about the Cincinnati Bengals one last time before their game, big-time game against the Browns. Joe Burrow 0-5 in his career against them. It's, these divisional games, they just mean more for everybody involved. But regardless of the outcome tomorrow, which I have Cincinnati winning, by the way, and I think a lot of you guys would agree with that too, maybe not Browns fans, but I really like the way this team is headed, and a lot of the videos we've been talking about in the last couple of days has been, you made it to the Super Bowl last year. I feel like they didn't really, one of you guys had a perfect comment. It went like, we didn't know what we didn't know, and now we know. Something like that. It was a nice little riddle, and I was like, that's perfect. A lot of young, not inexperienced players, but a lot of guys who haven't been to the Super Bowl, maybe not have had crazy playoff runs or even been to the playoffs before. They're just a really young team, and they're really promising. And so according to SB Nation, 98% of Bengals fans are confident the team is headed in the right direction. And I've been looking at the comment section. You guys have been loving the videos, really supporting my channel, and it's really cool. And my best guess is it's because it's small market, and it's nice to see Bengals fans come together as a community where it's like, it would, I guess, maybe be cool sometimes if we got the respect we deserve, but for the most part, it doesn't matter. We know, they got to beat us. They got to play us, right? You got to go through the Bengals if you want a chance at the Super Bowl, all right? If you want to get through the ASC, you got to get through the Bengals. And I know there's still, 4 weeks left of football, 5 weeks left of football. I have a hard time believing Cincinnati is not going to be that team in the AFC. Now, I'm not trying to jinx things here, but let's take a look at the Browns, because actually, before we get into this video, if you guys enjoy it, hit the like button, hit that sub button. Bengals fans, you guys are literally changed my life, blessing me with hundreds and hundreds of likes on this channel. Let's try and get to 250 on today's video. I will definitely be recapping this video or this game tomorrow with a video, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed my buddy Swaggy's video yesterday. I know he had some points that a lot of you guys disagreed with, but hey, I'm glad to see him making Bengals videos because you guys are absolutely awesome, and it's one fun-ass team. Now, I want to actually talk about one thing that he was mentioning yesterday that I disagree with, and a lot of you guys disagreed with too, which is all right. Offensive line. The offensive line in the first couple of weeks was suffering. They were struggling. They were desperate, right? It's a lot of new faces, or I should say it's a lot of faces who haven't played with each other. Well, ever since, honestly, that Browns game, their last loss, they have been really good in protecting Joe Burrow. They've been really good protecting him, man. So they have 4 straight wins. But they have won 6 of their last 7, dating all the way back to mid-October. Now, when we take a look at that Cleveland game, it was just disastrous, all right? And as I alluded to early on in this video, I know that the Bengals have not necessarily had recent success against the Cleveland Browns, but the Browns do possess some holes, right? I know Deshaun Watson is back. We'll talk about all that stuff very soon, but when I went back and I watched the film on that Browns-Bengals game, it started really poorly. Right? Joe Burrow in general he didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have a good game, I would say. 25 for 35, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He still had a rating of 96.4, but, the Bengals didn't score until the fourth quarter. So the final score was 32-13, but after the first half, it was 11-0, so still within reaching distance. But then after the third quarter, it was 25-0. All right. This is a completely different team, though. The Browns did have 5 sacks in that game. And like I said, that really, out of the 6 of the last 7 games, which have been wins, this really was the one game where the Bengals offensive line just couldn't hold up. I will give credit to Cleveland. Cleveland's an interesting team because it's not like they're bad, but they're not great. Their defense, you still got some beasts on both sides of the ball, but I view them as very beatable. That was a crazy tough loss. Cincinnati just kind of shot themselves in the foot. The run game was non-existent, and once you're losing the football game, it's kind of hard to stick with the run, especially when you're down 25-0 after the third quarter, or even 11-0 after the first. But I do want to see them get back and stick with the run, and I fully anticipate that to happen. Joe Mixon in that football game only had 8 attempts for 27 yards. Samaje Perine only had 1 rush for 7 yards. Like, Mixon's coming back this week after missing a couple weeks from that concussion, and we've already been, I love the words you guys are saying. You guys are giving them nicknames like the two-headed monster. I love it. I love referring to it as the best 1-2 punch duo in the NFL, or at least one of the best potential 1-2 punch duos in the NFL. I guess we got to see it in full swing. We're going to see it starting tomorrow, but Samaje did a phenomenal job. He's done a really good job ever since he came into the league, but he did a really, really good job the last couple of weeks without Joe Mixon. So, Cleveland, they don't have a great rush defense, and I do fully anticipate that these Cincinnati Bengals are just going to rush the ball quite a bit. I mean, the Browns, maybe Deshaun Watson, maybe that rust is gone, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Defensively speaking, they are 27th, which is 5th worst in the league. They give up 25 points per game. And when we take a look at the Bengals, I actually don't even care about statistics. Statistics for the Bengals will say that they have the 7th best offense. I mean, I don't see any reason why they're not going to throw up 30 on them. I mean, I think they're going to run it down their throat. Joe Burrow is going to do Joe Burrow things, and they're just going to score it. Maybe ease is the wrong word, but I kind of think they're going to score at ease here. Maybe Deshaun Watson has a come-out party, but, we've seen it, man. We saw it, like, this Bengals, and one of you guys brought it up after my first Bengals video, which was just, it really made me look into this a lot more. Like, Bengals are just outside of the top 10 in most defensive ranking categories. Like, defensive rating wise, they're 13th, giving up 21.3. I know defensive rating isn't the end all be all with defensive stats, but like, the Bengals to me have probably I don't want to just throw the word 5th best defense in the league out there, but like off the dome, I think the Bengals have the 5th best defense in the National Football League. I mean, it really is that good. And keep in mind, I mean, they're missing their best cornerback, but that defensive line is really good. They're getting healthy. They've been getting healthy in recent weeks. Like, it's not the same Browns team that we saw, and it's not the same Bengals team that we saw in their first meetup. So I really think, I mean, Cincinnati's like a bottom 5 team rushing the football. I think Mixon and Perine, I think they've found the secret weapon. I truly think they found the secret weapon, because obviously you got Joe Burrow, you got T. Higgins, you have Jamar Chase coming back for this game, which he missed the first Browns game. Like, they're just 2 completely different football teams, man. The offensive line has gotten so much better. The offensive line right now is pretty elite. Defensive line, like, they're getting guys like DJ Reader back. Like, they're just getting healthy. For me, the big thing with Cincinnati, and we talked about this in my last video, was, like, I want wins. I want as many wins as possible. I want to win over Buffalo. I want a final week win against Baltimore, and I want to win this upcoming week. And, I still think the first seed is very doable. But once again, man, like, if the Browns are a good rushing offense, well, like, so are the Titans, and they held Derrick Henry to 2.2 rushing yards. All right, maybe Deshaun Watson's knocked some rust out. Well, like, all right, that's cool, but, like, they held Mahomes to 223 yards last week. So this defense is so underrated, man. It just genuinely is, like, extremely underrated. So let me know what you guys thought about today's video. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for more Bengals content. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this game, most importantly, and stay tuned for a recap.